One of the races in the second primary is for Wake County Sheriff.
Yeah, Democrats failed to have a clear winner in May, which means it will take $1 million to decide who will face the Republican winner in November. The first day of early one-stop voting looks a whole lot different than the crowds we saw during the May primary. For Susan Pearsall, it doesn't matter if it's just one vote on the ballot. She sees it as her duty to vote.
It's so easy to forget because it's a runoff. It's not a lot of things going on, and yet it's really, really important who, in this case, I voted for who I hope will be the sheriff of Wake County.
In the last primary, Wake County Sheriff Gerald Baker came in second to former Sheriff's Office Major Willie Rowe. But Rowe didn't reach the 30% threshold to win outright. Baker called for a second primary.
I think it was an effort to, split the vote.
I welcome their challenge, and we'll let the voters decide.
The Wake County Board of Elections says it will cost more than $1 million to do that. Early voting, staffing, ballots all add up. The Board of Commissioners will ultimately approve the final cost, and since the town of Cary has its own runoff, they will help with their own expenses.
Certainly the expense of having to staff, having to print ballots, and get such a low turnout rate for a second primary raises concerns about, is this the best money being spent for such an endeavor?
It would take legislation to lower the threshold below 30% to avoid potential runoffs. With no high-profile races for Congress on the ballot, political scientist Michael Bitzer says expect turnout this time to be very low.
You're probably talking about maybe 10 to 20% of the numbers that were voted in May showing up to vote now. So it will be a very low turnout.
Turnout in May was about 20% in Wake County. If Bitzer is right this go around, that's at a minimum more than $30 a vote. Susan says it's still money well spent.
While who wants to spend $1 million, it is the process. People have a right to ask for a runoff, and therefore, yes, absolutely, it's worth every penny. And when you think of all the things we spend money on, again, who we decide to vote in as our officials, could there be anything more important to our day-to-day lives?
And if you want to find those in-depth interviews we've done with Baker and Rowe, we've got that, of course, at CBS17.com. The winner will face former Sheriff Donnie Harrison, the Republican, in November.
All right, Russ, thanks.